And Bury has been around for like 135 years. And then for it to just disappear like that, the community, like, how do you explain to a child that, oh, we won't be having any matches this weekend? The club no longer exists.
But well, is Bury that important to their community at the moment?
Well, yeah, because the community of Bury itself, that's the only club that is there. And they just got promoted to League One.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal for these small clubs.
Yeah, I know.
So they haven't actually played any matches yet because of the financial state of the club.
Yeah, I read that much.
And what really pisses me off is that the person who was allowed to buy the club didn't even know that Bury had a football club. So the question I have to ask is, why is it that the EFL is allowing type of owners to come in, purchase these clubs when they have no good intent whatsoever? Because how can you give an interview prior to your purchase saying that you didn't know that they had a football club to begin with?
Well, that's not a bad thing. That's not necessarily bad intent. I just think that what should be done is that we should get buyers that are more involved in football. For example, even though there was, I don't remember his name, but I think he was the owner of Crystal Palace.
No, the guy you're talking about.
No. I think so. Yeah. You see, the thing about him was he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best football club owner, but he was really a part of football. He really enjoyed football. I don't think that is the issue. I don't think that really is are like that.
I can understand that point. You might not be a great owner, but you understand what football is. Like you won't have great owners. Like Stan Kroenke and the Glazers are not great owners, but they won't allow the club to run itself into the ground.
True.
They won't do things that will cause the long term.
Yeah, which is why I say if you have an owner that is invested in football itself, rather than an owner who, and then a lot of owners want sports teams not because they have an idea to give to the sports team, but more as to say I have a sports team.
That is very true, and you do have situations.
As a matter of fact, our National Premier League here in Jamaica is entirely that.
It's entirely like that.
Yeah. Well, to some extent, you have a few teams. You have one and two teams, of course, that serious. But overall, the owning Premier League teams is really like a status thing for Jamaican businessmen. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Right now, that's a topic itself for the day. But back to Bolton and Bury. Now Bury situation to me kind of came off guard. I guess Bolton is the one I'm most disappointed in because we were around when they were in the Premier League.
Got saved today, like football venture, this company, they were able to purchase them today. So their takeover went through, and Bolton has been saved.
Saved is a strong word because we've seen takeovers that even.
Well, we know that there'll be a run for the rest of the season. That much you can see.
Alright, that's good as long as them not closed. But Bury situation seems like, because remember, we not grew up on Bury even being in the championship.
But they are the only FA Cup winner to go out of it.
I get that, but why I said catch me off guard. Why I say I don't feel much towards it is like how great of a situation were they in before?
Well, we're hearing that before most of the problem was started under the previous owner.
As usual. That's why I say a new takeover doesn't necessarily work.
And this guy came in and purchased the club for £1. Now, persons are saying that even though he took it over for £1, allowed to show any sort of proof that he has the funds necessary to handle the finances of the club. And that's where persons blame the EFL, because you have the fit and proper test, right? And he was able to pass the fit and proper test by the EFL. Then to find that he doesn't have the money or the necessary amount of money to put up to clear the debts.
That happens a lot in these football ownerships, you know. You'd be surprised, like, well, not necessarily in England, but if you look across like the world, I've been hearing that multiple times. That
Yeah, well, it's the job of the footballing authorities to ensure that when you're selling a club to an owner, the reason why this club is being sold is because it is in it has financial problem. It's not your job to ensure that they can clear the debts, clear the pay the staff, pay the players, take care of the ground. This should be like, if we are going to buy a house, right? The bank is going to ask us
for guarantor, I was just about to bring that up. I was just about, yeah, so
all of
a
this.
guarantor. But you see, the thing is, and that's why I was gonna bring up guarantor, is that a lot of these owners kind of put up certain. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything that that they're not proven guilty of. But based on what I've seen, and I don't know how to express this in the best way because I'm not too much into the business side of the game, but it's almost like having false guarantors.
That's what I believe as well. You've seen situations where owners have been thrown out and they've got the law involved when they find out, oh, they were just faking, they never had the money.
Yeah, so
For instance, look at United's takeover. The Glazers didn't have the money to buy United, but they were allowed to use United as, what do you call that then? As United assets to take out the money to buy United.
yeah,
And now the club has massive debt because the person that bought you was able to use your assets as a club to take out a loan to purchase you. That's complete madness. I've never heard of a situation where I want to purchase something and I'm putting up what I'm purchasing.
yeah. You know, but just think, like Jamaican people can get this, but like, but just think about courts or whatever. But
Like, we're also hearing that the guy took out a 10% per month loan on the stadium.
meaning that also meaning that
They mortgage the stadium at
yeah.
10% interest a month. That is complete madness.
I guess this I don't know a better word for it, but this false guarantor thing need for, and that's a problem with money in this digital era. I guess these
I was listening to Sky Sports earlier where the former manager of Bolton, he was saying that if you're coming to buy a club, right, you need to show that you have at least, you need to bring cash, you need to put cash on the table. Cash to show that, yo, here what? I have at least enough money to pay for this season and next season.
yeah. So you see what these guarantors don't ensure is. Alright, let me make you finish your point. Go ahead and finish your point.
Yeah, like, so, let's say, I remember that in the 80s, Chelsea was about to use Stamford Bridge because the club didn't have the money to do it. And they were,
Mm-hmm.
and Southwest London prime real estate. Luckily, the fans came together to save Stamford Bridge. And that's why Stamford Bridge is owned by the fans. And they just lease it back to the club. The same situation almost reached Aston Villa, where the owner came in, spent big money, really realized, oh, we can't get back to the Premier League, then pull out. Sell the club. Luckily for Aston Villa, they got promoted this season. So they weren't able to feel the effects. The same thing happened to Reading. The same thing happened to FC Halifax. It happened to Coventry City. AFC Wimbledon. The more and more find yourself in these situations where more and more owners are coming into the game with no intention of using these clubs, as you say it, as bragging rights to show that, yeah, I own a club. Or some are coming in to say that, here what? A lot of money in football, let's chase that Premier League dream.
I would have said Premier League dream. I would have said chase as much funds as possible. Because I don't think these guys understand football that much. And you have to have a certain understanding of the game.
Yeah, but I think half of football is business. And
True, but yeah, but what I'm saying is, which is why I brought up the Crystal Palace owner, or the former owner of Crystal Palace. He's a good businessman, you know. He's definitely a good businessman, you know. But he had to learn the football ins and outs of business, or how it works in the football world, or the footballing sense. Most of them come with a strict business approach, and it's not just a football thing, but you can't do that in any sport. You have to focus on what this sport brings to business and how business operates within the confines of this specific sport. I don't think they come in with those plans.
When you look at like footballing on a whole, even though football business itself is very specific,
Every sport, as I say, it's not a football thing. Each sport carries its own.
overall is very specific. But there's some basic common business practices.
True.
Like for instance, if me and you want to buy a company, right?
Yeah.
We can't approach this company without solid concrete cash to show that we can purchase it. No governing body is going to allow this purchase to go through without us being able to show that, here what, we have the physical cash to put up.
I just don't get how. Yeah, go ahead, go on.
So the question that has to be asked, who's the one approved?
Well, the EFL, of course. But the thing is that the thing is, it's not just an EFL thing. I don't just. It's not just an EFL thing. It's around Europe entirely.
That is true, but hear this now, see? There was this owner that I think was the same owner that tried to get by Reading, right? He tried to buy a Premier League club, and he did not pass the Premier League's fit and proper test. The Premier League told him, no, you can't buy the club. They blocked the deal. He went down to the Championship and was able to buy a club. Now, if a Premier League club, if you're denied by the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
How is it that you're able to go into the Championship and purchase a club? Obviously, the Premier League saw something that they...
Yeah, but that may not be that may more have to that I just playing devil's advocate here. That may more have to be with not the fact that you can't own a football club, but you may not be able to push for a Premier League club because you could have the assets for a smaller club, but
That's true, but I'm just saying overall, you know, like a question should be asked, you know, why were you denied by the Premier League? He later found out that he never had the cash.
yeah.
And then he had to sell Reading again to another club. So they look at it and they say that, okay, let's try the Premier League, but the Premier League is governed by a business. The clubs have a say, but the head of the Premier League is business. And if you're not able to put up the cash, or
And here's the thing, you know.
the Premier League is going to damage the reputation of the Premier League.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up a while ago. That I don't think that's why I say I don't think it is as strict for the Championship because look at it from a positive point of view. Then somebody who claimed it's hard to say term is positive, but somebody has a business reputation, right?
Yeah.
Someone has a business reputation. For a championship, it doesn't mean the same thing. It doesn't mean the same thing for a championship team that it means for a Premier League team. So you'd want a championship team to get the opportunity to be spent on, or you'd make it more easily available for a championship team to be spent on, rather than a Premier League team. Because again, if this had been at the Premier League, you can throw off a lot of things, and as you said, the reputation would be worse.
That's true.
So I think you'd make it as a bit more easily available to give a championship club or a lower league club a chance to or for someone to invest in it.
Now hear this, right? A report came out saying that the turnover in the championship, 105% of championship revenue goes to paying wages in the championship. Just imagine that. So all of the money that these championship clubs are making are going into paying wages. And if 105% of your revenue is going into paying wages, that is very unsustainable.
Yeah.
Because that you have nothing left back.
Yeah, because which is why I said, would you, being that you being from a more positive standpoint, you'd want a championship club to get invested in. Because every championship club is you see, every championship club is almost like a failing business in a sense.
But they are a failing business.
Exactly. So there's not much constraint that you would have on a fail for someone to invest in a failing business than where you just want this business to get some form of attention
Yeah.
or some form of means to help. Whereas in Premier League clubs are getting 100 million, even without the TV rights deal, even before the TV rights deal. Premier League clubs were making a certain level of money and had a certain level of reputation. You're not going to mess that up. To the point now where you have 100 million TV rights deal. And clubs like Bournemouth who spend 100 million into the club in itself rather than buying players.
Yes, but that's where someone was saying that the problem that you have is that these clubs are living above their means. They're paying wages that they can't afford.
Yeah, because you have to remember, the first three clubs that come down are coming down from 100 million a year.
Yeah, and have parachute payments for 2 seasons. We understand that. But where do you cut it off? Are you going to constantly risk the long term of the club in the hope that you make it back to the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean that's the point. Is that the point of the championship? Try to get to the Premier League.
But what's the point of, well, if you're going to give wages that the club can't manage, right? You jeopardize the long term sustainability of the club.
True, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. You're not helping the situation by making it sustainable either. Lot, and I know that sounds strange, but I think you're not going to get the quality of players, and we can get into an argument about this and how youngsters affect it, but
Alright, let's look at Bournemouth as a prime example, right? Even though Bournemouth has been in the Premier League, I think, for 3, maybe 4 seasons now,
think about three.
they
This will be the fourth, I think.
coming up. They had a model, and that model was not disturbed by anything. They went through the promotions, and when they reached the Premier League, the same thing that they did while they were going up, they did that in the Premier League.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, they have a good coach, and it has worked. That's the best thing we can say about Bournemouth. It has worked. I don't think Bournemouth is the only person with that approach. For Bournemouth, it's worked. But one way that I try to forget that is that You're not going to get the quality of play that you're seeing now in the championship without that spending. And it's because of what the higher leagues have pushed the market to.
That is true, and this is where the
Which is and that's why I'm
argument.
gonna bring up the whole English youngsters thing, because you would have more space to send young English players on loan in the championship if championship clubs didn't have to buy. Championship clubs are buying from Bundesliga and from Portuguese league, top Portuguese league teams, and you get what I say?
And the
They're
question is why? Why? Why are they
because
doing
they
that?
have to compete. Because
And then,
if you have three, like I said, if you have three Premier League clubs, right? You're trying to get promotion, right? And you're not in the Premier League. You have three Premier League clubs that are likely to come down with Premier League quality players, even if they're not the best of Premier League players.
yeah,
It would be easy for them to jump right back up, or easier. And you know, say more than likely that club is going to lose some of their players, some of them best players. But
because
in the
why
past
would you
couple of
lose
years,
them?
we've seen where these clubs who go down keep some of their best players.
Let's look at Newcastle. Newcastle went down, and they lost most of their best players.
No, not really. Not really. Those are players
No,
that were those. Are, you
so
see, the thing
the
is, I don't say
players.
Newcastle lost their best players. Newcastle lost their most expensive signings.
Well,
But
yeah, the players that are big money, big wage because
yeah, but you can't say
I
them best players, because you see, when I say best players, I mean you produce for the team, not that you were a big transfer into the team.
yeah,
So when a
because
team
then
that
it's Mike Ashley and love him or hate him. Team you the major in the championship, it is not guaranteed that you're going straight back up. So what you do is that you start cutting your wage
yeah.
because that is the big expenditure.
Yeah, and my thing is this: you see the people who got cut from that Newcastle team were people who should have been cut even if you still survived in the Premier League, as it pertains to playing quality on the field. Because even though that was some French Revolution crap, and they brought in a whole lot of French players or players from league on over that time period,
Yeah, but the players, the notable ones,
were
will
not
never
necessarily the
be
expensive transfers.
Sissoko, Wijnaldum, I think it was Wijnaldum? Yeah, it was Wijnaldum.
Yeah, but those are exceptions. When you look at how much they actually bought and who they actually bought, like Sissoko is an exception, Wijnaldum is an exception. Who shouldn't even have been at Newcastle in the first place?
True.
Because Sissoko was doing excellent for Tolu in League On, and Wijnaldum is a PSV Eindhoven graduate. They should have never been at Newcastle.
And now the argument is that the Premier League needs to now be sending money down to the EFL by giving them more money.
I don't know about that.
Which I think is fucking foolish
Because
because,
you've just put, because here's the thing, the Premier League's money is right for its market.
yeah, but the Premier League doesn't make, the Premier League makes its money because it's attractive.
And have the
Not
funny thing is, the
because,
more money spent into the Premier League on transfers, and I think you see the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the foreign players that the Premier League bring in is why their value is going up.
that's why.
So as much as people come, oh no, it's English youngsters. If it was purely a more English league, like if English league was like La Liga, where it's mostly Spanish players, I don't think you're seeing this level of money being spent.
Someone on Twitter yesterday about the same thing. And he said that it's the English game. I'm like, no.
Shut the hell
The
up
reason
about
why the
English
Premier
game.
League commands so much money with overseas rights is because of the amount of foreigners that are playing.
Yeah, and what they bring to the game.
Nations and the different demographics that the Premier League has. It is so diverse
It becomes
that
a world league by itself. It becomes a world league by itself.
it is our league. So if you're in Venezuela, you have Solomon Rondon, I believe it's Venezuela, correct?
Yeah. If not Venezuela, Venezuela or Paraguay.
One of those two countries. But you have Central American countries.
All right,
You
let's use
have
Cuba. Cuba have the Norwich. Cuba have Hernandez from Norwich. We grew up seeing Ricardo Fuller and Baby Bolton and Stoke City.
yeah, in the Premier League.
Yeah, and we have that as old. Yo, see some Jamaican man. We had Frank Sinclair at Chelsea, Jamaican.
Like, persons are saying the only reason why Chelsea spent so much money on Pulisic was because of getting the American market in.
Well, and him talented in Ross. I mean,
But
like,
the market potential is still, we not
yeah.
deny that.
And we have Matt Maisga as well, his US teammate. And we had Kyle Scott, but Kyle Scott chose to leave.
Yeah, he chose to leave. And then,
Which
yeah,
is
but
no problem. Like going and him go to Newcastle, where DeAndre Yedlin, another US player, is.
yeah, and you look at that and they're saying that, but wow, you have players from all over the world here.
And remember, Chelsea was an African colony in its prime.
That's right.
You had
And now,
Ivorian, you had Ghanaian, you had Nigerians running through the squad.
and these are the emerging markets that the Premier League commands so much money in overseas rights.
Yeah.
And although for fans it's quite annoying about how they get
For English fans, for people who might live at England, because me not a problem. Well, me not that much of a problem with it.
get the game and it's an inconvenience to them, which
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Nobody wants to be going to a stadium on a Monday or a Friday night.
I want to see one player with English on the team. Like, wow.
But even for the fans, they understand that the reason why the game is on a Friday and on a Monday and at this certain time is because the emerging markets are there. And they know that, you know what, the fans of Premier League clubs, they know that it's these emerging markets is why our club can afford to go out and buy the 100 million players and give them the big wages.
Yeah, because they make the game better.
West Ham can outspend top 4 teams in La Liga and in the Bundesliga and attracting top talent and paying big money. Because 5-6 years ago, if you told a West Ham fan that you would have the front three that you have now, they would be laughing at you. If you told them that they'd be spending 40 and 50 million pounds on 3 players in our transfer window, they'll be laughing at you. You look at Leicester City squad and you're saying to yourself that, well,
Why Dennis Pryor? Why Dennis Pryor? They are Leicester there. No. Dennis Pryor and Yuri Tillman's there at Leicester City. Not get it. I get say Mahrez did get promoted with them. Long time him there. I get say him just a talent we develop. But yo, Pryor and Tillman. Come on, man. And I don't think AC Milan is interested in a Pryor this season because them take Sampdoria manager. And he was a key player for the Sampdoria team that manager was coaching.
But look at Frankfurt, second striker behind Jovic.
Do that.
Frankfurt is a Champions League at a minimum Europa League team.
Oh, Hala?
Bundesliga. Yeah, Haller. Bastian Haller.
And he was starting, I think he was starting on the Kovac, you know.
He was starting. It was Haller, Rebic, and Jovic as the front three.
No, Jovic came from Benfica.
No, I'm talking last season.
Oh,
Yeah, that was their front three last season.
give me a second. Yeah, so continue.
And Sebastian Haller's not West Ham. West Ham who's not even in the Europa League.
Hey, Chicharito say him like the project. Chicharito say it would be easy. Chicharito say it would be easy to go somewhere else and compete.
So when you look at the squad quality of mid-table Premier League
You got
clubs,
Chicharito there on the bench. You know see Chicharito from the season start.
on the bench, West Ham has Yarmolenko and Felipe Anderson.
Paulo
Trevor.
Fornals.
These are not players that you would say, oh, these are at mid-table club
No,
players.
because to this day, I don't understand why a
These
Syria
are
team
players
isn't.
you would take years ago. You would find them at a top 4 club.
Exactly. Because I don't understand you leave Lazio. You leave Lazio where I play Europa League every year. And I have a chance for the end of the Champions League. And you go West Ham. And Man United did I run him down for like remember when Man United did I run him down? Um Lanzini. Like
And you end up he left Lazio to come to West Ham.
yeah, and then Lanzini. Oh, man
They were
still
cutting in and out.
no. Man understand. Oh, I don't understand how Lanzini. You hear me better? Alright, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes, I don't understand how Lanzini is not at a better club. Because I think at a better club he'll be on the same level as a Dybala, a Coutinho, those type of players. If he was at a better club. And AC Milan are waste money pan I don't even want to know them transfers this season. But anyways,
Well, persons are asking Manchester United and Manchester City to give Bury money to survive.
give what?
To give Bury money to survive. No,
If but here's the problem. Can you own two teams in the same league?
you can't. The FA stops that.
Because I mean, if Bury wants to be a part of the City Football Group,
No, you can't. You can't own
two clubs in one league.
one nation.
Yeah, that basically that much I say.
Now look at it this way, right?
Yeah.
City allowed Bury at their training ground, right? Rent free. All they had to do was
Give me a second, then.
maintain.
Carly. Give me a second. Then. Yeah. So, yes or no?
So yeah, Bury was at the Carrington training, right? City said that they want only thing you have to do maintain the pitch and the facility. They don't have to pay any rent. Now, if you're expecting a club to go into its account and write you a check, then
Your league has problems.
there are serious problems. Well, not only are you putting yourself into legal trouble, the reason why you're in this mess is because of the owner that you have.
Mismanagement
Right?
of the football club.
And it's mismanagement of the football club. Why is it that the Premier League should give you money so they can mismanage it even further? Because it doesn't matter if you're getting 100,000 or $1 million. If you're mismanaging the club, you're going to mismanage the club.
And you're talking about how much would City tolerate that when they have their own group of clubs around the world? Them
Because
up.
boys are saying, oh, Alexis Sanchez wage alone can bail out both clubs. Okay, fine, yeah. But don't you feel like the United needs this money to make sure it gets themselves back at the top table?
Yeah, but here's the thing though. If Sanchez was playing at his best right now, they would be making back that money. That's the point of paying him that much. Sure, his transfer didn't work out, but let's not pretend like if Sanchez wasn't playing like he was at Arsenal, that they wouldn't be making back that money that they spent for him.
About the thing is that even though his on-field performance has been poor,
yeah,
we know that his shirts has been selling like hell.
I mean, he's Sanchez. He's still Alexis Sanchez.
And we know he performs for Chile because he did set Copa America.
Yeah.
When you look in that stands, they have another United shirt. Now, where the shirts coming from? So it's not like he will not generate back the money for the club. It's just that on-field performance has been poor, and we understand that. But the Premier League clubs have to contest with other top-flight leagues. And what makes these clubs attractive is the wages that they can offer and the competitiveness of the Premier League. Now the Premier League as a body, the governing body, can't be just giving out money to the football league because the football league does not know how to manage its football structure and to keep the clubs within it in the green. The top flight clubs broke away from the football league for that very same issue. They were just not able to manage a league properly. I remember the Leeds owner was calling for a Premier League 2, where the championship clubs would break away and form their own second division, where they have more control over TV rights, commercial income, because he was saying that under the current structure, it is not viable. And other persons were like, but no, you can't break away and form a Premier League 2. And then you find out that championship clubs are spending every single ounce of cent that they have on wages, eventually you're going to have more situations like Bolton, more situations like Bury.
I mean, if you're selling football clubs based on promises.
Because England has this, I think, 92 professional clubs over 4 divisions. And it's the only thing like it in the world. But there comes a time where, as much as you might love the clubs, the business side has to take control. And if the EFL cannot fund all the clubs,
why have them?
Why do you have them?
So, which brings me back to the thing that I was asking you earlier about Bury. Like, how important is this club to its fans and the community? Because you see, the thing about a club closing down is really what effect it will have on the community around as it pertains to giving youth a chance to do something other than crime, allowing somebody to earn some form of money a different way, or fulfill some smaller version of their dream. And how much does it generate for the community? Is it the only relaxing thing for the people in that community? How big of a football club? Because again, if this just closed down, it just closed down. But that's my question towards that argument. Because if you just let's say that you close down half most of the football clubs that are in that situation. You're talking about half out. But the three leagues under the Premier League, you'd probably kick out half of those clubs.
Because, let's be honest, half of them are not in the green, they're in the red.
Exactly.
And the cold, harsh truth of it is, if you're running your football club and every season you're in the red, then there's either two things you have to do. Either A, you get those players off of your books and start relying on loan signings and players.
No, but what I'm saying is, let's say a club can afford. Let's say it's not just how. You see, the thing about wages is, it's not necessarily that the wages are increasing to a high level, or throughout all three leagues. I just don't think they're going to generate back any money that they spend.
But they won't, because you can't run a club on 5,000 coming interested. You're just not generating enough money.
And here's the next thing. They're kind of following the Premier League model.
Yeah, but they're not getting half of the Premier League is only so rich. It's because of the broadcasting deal.
Exactly.
And that's because persons want to watch it. Let's be honest.
So, which is why, yeah, but here's why I said that. Here's why I said that. Which, and I can bring it back to wages. Listen, here's how I can bring it back to wages.
Yeah.
You want the league to be more attractive? Buy some guys from overseas. Or are you going to attract those guys?
You won't.
No. I'm talking just the overpaid players that are there now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of overseas players currently playing in the championship.
They are.
But how do you get those players to come in? How can a team like Reading afford to pay a player like Pele, who was a Portuguese under-21 international, played for Sporting Central Portugal, ended up playing for AS Monaco, and Monaco now loaned him to Reading. That's somebody who's fighting for a spot in the Portuguese national team.
And now you need to ask yourself, how much money is paid?
Brother, if Monaco could have signed him, AS Monaco. If Monaco can sign him, trust me, he's not getting a DB wages, like small wages.
And now he's at your club.
Which club that?
No, I'm saying I know he's at Reading.
Why am I not bring Reading for the championship?
Oh. You're saying that he's at Reading, right?
Yeah, like he's at Reading. What is he doing at Reading?
The fact he went from Monaco to Reading, that just shows you that means that, unless Monaco really wants to get rid of you.
And that's the thing. Even if Monaco, alright, let's say that Monaco wanted to get rid of him. You know which club could really do with him right now? Sporting Central Portugal.
And now you're at the championship, which means Reading is at least giving you at least a £40,000.
And he's not a player that they're going to buy to put on the bench. Or bring him to play upon the bench. I think he's around 26 or turning 27 now. But I think even Wolves was interested in him at some point.
Okay.
He's another central midfielder with box-to-box midfielder type player. But he never worked out at Monaco last season because Monaco had a terrible season. And I guess Jordan not having any plans for this season because he's bringing Adrian Silva. Which kind of clash of playing styles.
So you're looking at this and you're saying that the overall of the effort needs to change.
Yeah, that's it. And stop selling football clubs on promises.
Because persons playing the Premier League it's because the Premier League is soaring. And they have all this money and they're not sharing.
Not shared. How did they make the money in the first place? How did they make that money in the first place? And that's the thing, the championship is doing everything that the Premier League is doing to earn what the Premier League did. But here's the difference. The Premier League has a TV rights deal that is very large. Unless championship games just start All right, let's find out makeshift solution. Right? Look, just throwing a thought out there, and I don't even know if this would work. Could the EFL create like an independent app or have an independent station that just plays EPL or those championship games,
You
and
could,
then they'd have to bring in more foreign coaches?
like, overall, we know Sky Sports has the broadcasting rights of champions, right?
No, I mean like outside of that. Me talk about outside of Sky. Me talk about this are just EPL. This are just championship.
We have like an online platform like Amazon,
Like
Freight.
kind of like that. I'll go $1. Well, I won't say $1 per month, but you
Yeah,
get
but
the
that's
gist of
only
me. I
the
say.
19.
You,
But the problem that you have is this. Maybe if they do that, right?
yeah.
They'll have to price it at a point where, one, it covers the operating costs. Two,
And you have to generate interest.
generate interest. That's two. And three, the clubs have to get some sort of compensation for that. And
Yeah,
the
what I
fact
mean is that the reason why I said that, is I don't think the championship is being watched, and I think they're at times very entertaining games. There can be very entertaining games, and in all honesty, when you watch the best players from the championship, right,
yeah,
they look a standard above the rest of the championship players, but it looks like a player that is playing in the Premier League. If that makes sense to you.
yeah, I'm honest with this thing because last season there were some very great matches last season. Champion.
Not just last season, just overall for the past maybe 4 or 5 years. You see the thing. You see the problem. All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is where I think the people who are talking about the Premier League in a bad way, you realize that the Championship is signing the Premier League crumbs, meaning that if I buy somebody from League One and it doesn't work out for me, you realize the first place them send them is on loan to the Championship.
Yeah, I went to the championship.
Nuno Espirito Santos just sent thing there to Fulham. Costa, one of his attacking players. Never work out like Hota did. Plays the same type of football as Hota, but he's left footed. Costa is left footed. Sent him on loan to Fulham. Same thing for what name Ivan Cavallero.
Yeah, but isn't former PSV Eindhoven coaches?
Felipe Koku is
Yeah, and
currently
he
coaching
has
for
won
Derby.
titles. Marcelo Bielsa is at Leeds.
Still, but why the Argentine? I don't understand that. Yeah, that's a story for the next day. That's an argument for why the Argentina national team doesn't have Bielsa.
And then though you have like English managers in the champion. Other person is that they play a very attractive brand of football in the championship. Teams don't just sit back and defend.
No, as a matter of fact, it's kind of very aggressive.
They call it the most physical league in England.
It
And
is.
it's not just because they are very attacking and the tackles
No, I
are
mean
fast.
like it's aggressive. It's an aggressive league.
It's high.
But when you add technical players now, like you're bringing in a Pele from Monaco. Now you add technicality to that. You can attract somebody, but I mean, you look at Leeds squad. You have Edward Nikita from Arsenal, Nigerian striker. You have Jack Harrison, English, but Man City, and he's made his name in the US market from playing for what do you call it? New York City FC.
Yeah.
Currently on loan to Leeds from Manchester City.
Elder Costa is actually at Leeds.
Yeah, Costa's at Leeds too as well. Some my part, but it was Ivan Cavallero. Ivan Cavallero is at Fulham.
And when you watch Leeds play, my God,
It's Bielsa. And Felipe Coco will have the same type of effect of attractive total football at Derby.
no,
But to go back to the Premier League, to go back to the whole Premier League crumbs thing, I don't get why But why are so many? Well, then again, why are so many international players choosing to play in the championship rather than just leaving back to another country or leaving to another European country where they could get better football? Because I always questioned like,
The championship clubs are willing to offer them that they will get like a top flight club, and the championship club is saying to themselves that here what, if you can come in and get us promoted, then the wage will be worth it. And hence why they have a 105% turnover rate. Because everybody is saying to themselves that we can make it, we can make it, we can make it.
or not even we can, not even just we can make it. The football would be better.
So now the championship is suffering from lack of commercial, lack of TV rights, because Sky Sports is not giving a lot of money. The bulk of Sky Sports money goes into Premier League, right? They're not progressing far enough in FA Cup or D Cup. Well, once the Premier League clubs get
And those competitions need certain things for themselves too. As it pertains to like making more money from those matches.
they do it, they do because the Premier League clubs, unless they're playing on next the League Cup and the early rounds of the FA Cup, is just to try out your youngsters and to rotate one.
Basically, give some people some rest. But
That's
the
all
funny
it
thing
is.
is, y'all like look at even today. Burnley got knocked out by Sunderland 3-1, a convincing 3-1.
That happens. But is this a full strength Burnley squad? No. That's why you're seeing these clubs, they're like, oh, let's play for the draw, let's hope we can get a win. Let's hope we can get drawn away to a Premier League club because the great receipts that I'll get at Old Trafford,
Yeah.
the way more than I could ever get at my stadium. We saw that, I think it was with Lincoln City, when it was in the National League, when they were playing Premier League clubs.
I think them did they play a match today?
Yeah, they played today. And that's a club that was well run. They lost 4-2 to Everton. We can look at Salford City, although it's the class of 90 that's really backing it, but another well-run club. Sunderland, they got new owner, restructured the club, and now they're trying to get back promoted to the championship. And see, look at that though. For Everton to beat Lincoln City, they had to rely on Premier League caliber play. The goal scorers are Lucas Dean, Jeffrey Sigerson, Iwobi, and Richarlison.
And I get a six goal game. A game that have 6 goal can't just be that boring.
No? 9 shots, 4 on target for him, 28 on target for Everton.
Alright, so somewhat competitive match.
Some position. It was a somewhat competitive match. But it was at home to Lincoln City, and a Premier League club is coming to visit. You put out your best and you play your best football. And they took the lead in the first minute at that. So it was a good game. So I believe if the championship is able to structure, maybe get itself under the Premier League umbrella, then you might find a more, they'll make the league will be more profitable, and you find more clubs able to generate income, because it's not generating anything now. Another person is also saying that the Premier League is withholding or doesn't want to donate too much money because they want to introduce new clubs into the football pyramid in England.
Who?
The Premier League clubs want to introduce a new system where they have B teams.
A what system?
Where they have B teams like what is it in
Oh, you mean like Barca and Madrid Castilla?
Yeah. They're saying that's why the Premier League don't donate much money to the lower league. Because they want to have a B team.
Oh, so they want to be able, but that every team in the Premier League will have a B team.
Yeah.
The difference in well, I wouldn't say that because a lot of lower league teams have B teams in Spain.
That is true.
So.
But let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. How bad could that be for the overall?
It would be actually worse because you're sending. Look at the players that Chelsea send on loan every season. It would be worse because you're sending talented young players. You're sending talented young players and a team of them at that. Not just like say, yo, alright, you're sending go alone and them have to adjust to this and Rayante and that and
You're
that.
sending out your talented academy prospects too.
Exactly, with coaches that are actually really Premier League class. Remember, Guardiola coached the B team before taking over Barca itself. So the quality of coaching will be better, the quality of players will be better, younger, so them can handle the pace and physicality.
And we know that these players are at the Premier League academy can be starting at these lower league clubs.
Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham. Just to throw out some examples. But I guess that's the most we can say about this right now. But I don't know what the solution is right now for them. But speaking of to a more positive note, I guess. Speaking of Britain and football, or British people and football and takeovers, how you feel about Nice takeover?
I think they're going to do well.
Alright, hold on there, because goal put this as another Marseille or the new Ajax.
Yeah, because honestly, the guy that bought him, Sir Jim Ratcliffe,
Yeah.
he owns this chemical company, and now he has shown that all of his sporting ventures, he has put his money where his mouth.
Name Ineos. That's how it's pronounced?
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced.
It's a petrochemical company. Ineos?
Yes, so really. They have a portfolio of sports ventures that they've bought.
Yeah.
And he has invested heavily in them.
Yeah, but you see this is where more bringing now. This is where more bringing out. Nice has a good academy already. Like great young team right now. Good young manager right now. What do they really need to take them to that next level? Is he really a new owner?
Well, let's see what happens, because maybe with some investment they can better facilities, getting better players, maybe challenge at the top.
Yeah, but how do you do? Do you do that in an Ajax way or go the Marseille way? Marseille bought players.
That's true, though. This is where we don't understand how it's going to work.
Because here's the thing: if you want to do the Ajax way, everything's set up already.
Everything is already there. That is true.
Yeah, the young player them right. No, young manager right. No, young French manager, French legend. So your manager is a star presence in himself, just like Zidane is. So you have that. You have the manager. You have the manager with a face. You don't even just have a money. You don't even just have a good manager. You have a manager with a face who has experience, was a top player in his time, world class player in his time. And on top of that, you already have a great academy, a good stadium. Maybe you want to improve facilities, sure, but you already have a good stadium, and you're already a Europa League team.
So, based on what Ratcliffe said, he's saying that we have looked at a lot of clubs in the manner at how we look at business for value and potential and need to fix that criteria. With some sensible measured investment,
Yeah.
we want to establish OGC as a team that compete in European club competition on a regular basis and importantly, sustain it.
Good. But like I said, you wanted that the Ajax way, and by the way, just with this current team, them Marseille struggle today.
Yeah, so I believe based on what he's saying, he might go to Marseille where he's going to give
Just bringing in
him
players
the ability to bring in some players.
that can
He's
improve the
saying the
quality.
fans will also play an important role.
Who?
I will know clubs. The fans will also play an important role. So maybe what he might try to do, I'm not entirely sure, the time will tell. You maybe get your best youngsters in the squad, but yet you add that little talent here and there that can take them to the next level.
Alright.
So
And
it's a
quick,
good idea.
hold on, there
Like
were
it.
like a minute. Um, but continue.
Yeah. It's a good idea, I like it. Maybe another club to challenge PSG in the long run. Maybe to make League One more competitive.
It will.
Because the money is now being shared around. So
Alright, you want to talk about the VAR thing?
so VR,
Yeah.
yeah man.
Alright, so the whole VAR situation. You were speaking about the inconsistencies, especially in the English Premier League.
Yes, in the English.
One of the point.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
VR in the Premier League does not work like how VR works in every other in another European. Now, this article came out, I think it was today, not today, yesterday, where they're saying that Premier League refs will not use the pitch side money as they fear it will slow the game down much.
And
Now,
go
we're
on.
looking at this from the perspective where what happens when VR operators think that the ref is right, but when they do a check back, it is wrong. But what happens when VR believes that they are right and the ref is? The ref can't review back his decision, so he has to take what VR says at a face value.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
No.
Alright, so with the whole VR system thing, the one thing I would say that um 2 points I want to make. I don't think VAR should be as involved as it already is, because I'm seeing a dependency on it. It's not just about tough decisions. No, I personally think the sideline monitor thing is a good tool, and it does slow down the game. I actually watch Syria, so most other people now go realize this, but it does slow down the game. Now, you
Yeah.
gave the example about Norwich and the Norwich Chelsea match, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling you that the decisions the decisions to call back certain plays, right? So Chelsea gets up. Chelsea should have gotten a foul on the edge of their box, or how
On the
was it?
sideline.
It was Chelsea attacking Norwich, and then
Um,
foul Tammy Abraham and counter and score.
yeah.
Yeah, in that case, I don't see you drawing back the play because let's say that the referee was wrong and it was a foul and he didn't give it. There's You can't call that back just because a goal scored from it. Because in all honesty, Chelsea had time to get back the ball. It's not like it wouldn't have been an immediate response.
That's one. That I understand. When you're talking about the situations, value no penalty, but it's clear to anybody that that's a penalty. But value is not a penalty. The referee cannot go back and check back the decision.
The referee himself cannot check back at that, which is true. And like I said, the sideline tool is to me it's a very good tool to have, but it does slow down the game.
That is true, but at the end of the day, fans might complain that oh, it's slowing down the game, this and that. But if by the referee going out there and checking and awarding their team a winning penalty, they won't hear them complain that it's slowing down the game.
True.
It's the team that the penalty was awarded against is going to complain
Yeah.
that it's slowing down the game. And next week when they are the one on the good end of it, they won't be complaining about it.
But I bring you back to this. This is what I bring you back to. As it pertains to refereeing, a lot of the current Premier League referees are under more pressure than even Howard Webbs of old used to be
That is true.
because of the technologies that are advancing. So I think that more referees are going to listen to VAR or become more dependent on VAR rather than making their own decisions anyway.
Okay,
This is what I was saying. Why dispute VAR when I can just say, well, VAR said this and this is the system that is set up to make sure that the right decision is made.
but I can give you an alternate thinking to that. I have this article open where they said that by the Premier League refereeing heads telling the ref to not check the pitch side monitor, they're putting more pressure on the ref than normal.
Yeah, it is. That's
Because
why
the
I
ref
said, which brings which
for himself.
yeah, which brings back to my point. Why complain with the VAR if me can't check it? Why complain with VAR if I can't check it? Because most people are gonna take VAR side in it because it's a technology.
Because what I'm seeing, what they literally try, what I believe trying to do is that if the ref is unable to watch it back, then he can simply say, yeah, just follow the VAR.
That's what I'm saying. Why do you no? But I guess my idea is an extreme. I guess where it becomes a situation where every decision the referee is going to be touching his earpiece. Hey, what's going on? Is that there? Was that there? Hey, what's the decision?
And that will happen. You do have those softwares that will just rely on
No, that's the
VAR.
thing. I'm seeing that right now in the Premier League. In Syria and those places, I don't see that because them have the side monitor where the ref can check himself.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that why are you stopping the referee from you? Because in Syria and Bundesliga, League One, La Liga, if the referee doesn't agree with what they are saying, they just say, you know what,
Okay.
I'm going to do myself.
Yeah.
And if I watch it back and I stand by my original call, that's the end of that and the discussion is over.
But what about the original call? I don't want it to become a case where even the original call in itself, you're going to VAR. where you blow the whistle not because you're going to make a decision yourself. You blow the whistle to stop the game and ask VAR what's the decision.
Whereas the only time I even see that is necessary is in case of a penalty. A penalty goal.
Yeah, but imagine that penalty situation being done in every situation.
Now remember you asked me one time what happens when a penalty is in the box, but VAR is checking it, but the referee hasn't blown yet, and the next go and score.
Similar to the whole Tommy situation. Let's say you foul Tommy in the box instead of outside of the box. Norwich goes and score. What happens?
VAR calls back the play and awards the penalty.
No, you cannot. You've given it too much time to play on. That was my argument.
That the ball has to go out of play or stop for the decision to be reviewed. That's why I see refs blowing
Just to stop the game.
to stop the game, because what happens if the ball doesn't go out of play
And you need to make a decision.
and by the time VAR says, oh yeah, penalty, it just takes one kick.
Alright, now let's say that it's hold on, let's say that it's not even that situation. Let's say it's just even a regular foul situation. And as soon as somebody gets hit down, you blow the whistle, you don't make a decision yet, you know. And then you go to VAR and wait for them to tell you if it's a foul. Even if it's not a penalty situation where it's intense.
The ref still needs to have some, they still need to be responsible for the in-game.
But that's what I'm saying. With everything going on now, why would I take up that responsibility even though I vowed to it and VAR is there? And most people going to trust VAR first.
That's why I said in the Norwich situation, you said that VAR said that they couldn't call it back because it's no longer within that phase of play.
Exactly. You entered an entirely new phase of play because you've given it too much time.
That's why the decision stood. The ref did not see the foul. They saw the foul, but it's a different stage of play, so they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So the referee still has to be vigilant on the field, because if he does not see a foul,
No, alright, listen to what I'm saying then. Listen to what I'm saying then. Tammy gets knocked down, but the referee blows the whistle. You get what I'm saying? Don't imagine that the play didn't continue. Imagine that the referee blew the whistle, right, when Tommy went down, but he did not give a foul. He just blow the whistle to stop the game, then calls the VAR, right? Now let's say that it is not a foul, and you're spending time talking to VAR, right? And VAR reviews it and says it's not a foul. You're slowing down the game.
that won't happen though. That's an extreme.
No, I don't think it's an extreme because that's where I see it heading if referees are becoming more fearful.
Yeah, but I don't think a referee is going to do that. By you just stopping the game to check if it's a foul or not, persons are going to go up in arms. I don't think you're going to reach that level.
Well, if they're under so much pressure, I'm afraid we're going to see that even in one match. I feel like it is inevitable in at least one match. I don't think it's going to be like an entire weekend of referees doing that, but I just think you will see it eventually. And I know it's an extreme, but I think eventually you might see it. Especially if you don't put it in the video monitor.
Like I said, I don't think we're going to have that extreme because refs are under pressure because they won't allow them to review back VAR decisions. I remember the VAR does not rescind fouls or check fouls. They only check fouls that lead to a goal scoring opportunity or a goal being scored. So even if, and if it's like you said, if it's not within the same stage of play, then they won't check it.
But, well, like I said, I feel like you still will have that extreme. Because
Foul the player, then the pass directly after goes to the striker and then the striker scores, then they check that.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think you're going to see the extreme of it's just a regular foul. Him can make the decision and him just go to VAR.
No, I think that's a that's going to be an extreme.
I know it's an extreme. I know it's an extreme, but I don't think of it as something that's going to be regular. I just think that we're going to see that extreme.
Like I say, I think the referee that does that is just an extremely weak
Then I'm
referee.
gonna lose him job, you know. I'm gonna lose him job.
And
You
a
know that,
referee that doesn't believe that he's competent in what he's doing.
but that's the thing. It's not just about being competent in what he's doing. You know. It's how much pressure he's under in the moment.
Because in the Premier League, they've admitted already. Before the first match of the season, Sky Sports went down to Stanley Park, and the VAR chief said that they're going to try their utmost best to not overrule the decision on the pitch.
Yeah, because that's what that. But that's what that was the point I was making to you about. It's not their job to call back stuff. You're supposed to wait until the ref make a decision, and maybe if you want to change that.
That's why we're saying that what happens when the ref misses this or doesn't call
Give
it,
me a second.
he just doesn't.
Sorry about that. Um, sorry about that. I was just checking something. We're gonna talk about it another time. But yeah, back to the whole VAR thing. Like I said, you might see that extreme in a match, but their job isn't to take over from the referee. That's my point. Their job isn't necessarily to be another referee. Their job is strictly to, all right, the referee make a decision. Let's check, communicate with him, and then the referee still really makes the final choice.
Yeah, but what if the referee misses a decision?
Misses, what do you mean?
As in they don't call it, they don't call it.
Then it's
As in,
missed. Then it's missed. Then it's
it's a
missed.
penalty and the referee didn't call the penalty.
Then it's missed. The same thing, like, let's say that Tommy was fouled in the box, right? Ref never call it. Ref never blow the whistle or call anything, right? And Norwich went on to score. You can't call that back. Can't resend the goal. So you still gonna get referee mistakes. And like I said, there are times when the VAR going to make mistakes and the referee need to review it, and VAR might be wrong. But the referees in the Premier League can't review it.
The VAR makes a bad choice or your original choice was correct. Then, like them say, VAR, the critics of VAR says it's going to stop discussions when the truth is it's going to create a lot more discussions.
Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about now before we leave is Football Manager 2020.
My game.
Yeah, so when am I going to get a code for it? Because you know you're a beta tester and everything, so I need a code. No, I don't want to share the game with you again like this year. I want a code. You do this for too long now. Yeah, also for too long now. Them supposed can get a code, not just beta testing. You must can get a code for me.
We have not. They haven't released anything yet. There's nothing.
Our release date is there, new features there, price there.
Well, yeah, they have a price and everything. It's actually cheaper than last year.
And do you see that now? You see because me know a beta tester, I feel I'm just get a code.
We're not sure what's gonna happen for this year, honestly. They haven't communicated anything to us. So some of us are not even sure first if it will be beta testing FM 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, using the last years as an example, they started FM 19 late September.
Yeah.
18 was early September. Now the entire fan base is waiting on information. What are the headline features? What has changed and all of that. So it's still early. It's like very, very early days right now. And we're still awaiting anything from them. Because, like, as you know, each beta tester is under non-disclosure agreement and stuff.
Yeah, I know that.
They can't talk about anything that you see or anything that you
Yeah,
hear.
man, I don't need you to talk about that. I need you to get me a code.
We are anxiously, I remember today, I checked I was going through the forum, and everybody is pretty much, asking, so, when are we going to get to know? When is the first copy going to come in our hands? It all depends, I believe, from a programming perspective, because that's one thing I can speak of. Like, if there's any major, like, massive overhaul with the system, that might take a while to do. So that might push down testing time. But using FM19 as an example, more if they had gotten testing done earlier, would have eliminated some of the problems that the game had at launch.
Mm.
I think they are going to really try their best to fix that. Using what was posted in the public forum and public knowledge and everything, they said that they were going to look at striker because one of the problems they had in 19 was that how the strikers were behaving
Weren't as to their position. See the whole thing with the ram butte and they call it inside forwards. Never did that work like inside forwards.
Yeah, like attacking players were like, if you're using two inside forwards and a striker, you could have fooled anybody thinking that you're playing three strikers up top because they were that close to each other. So there's the off the ball movement was poor. This 90-match agent favored more a Jurgen Klopp style of football than, let's say, a Pep Guardiola Barcelona style of football.
Yeah.
You can get it done, but it requires a high understanding of how the match engine works to get it done. So I think they will release something earlier, but each year SI has tried their best to replicate football, and I think you're going to reach a point where they're going to hit a concrete.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can
Emulate.
And it's not only what we as the human players can do, but also what the AI itself can also do. Because AI development in games is still very in its infant stage, and SI is one of the most detailed football simulation out there. So I'll let you know if they pass out any better keys. Or any keys for a copy.
Need a copy for 20. 20, we don't need a copy. Well, yeah, that's it for today's for the podcast today. Any last things before we go, Leon?
Only FIFA 20 gameplay release.
I don't really care for FIFA that much. I'm not really a FIFA guy. Really just a PES and a FM type of guy.
Career mode looks fun.
Now all my bread for FIFA and career mode.
More work needs to be done, but it looks fun. I do like what they've done with Volta Story.
Oh my god, it's a story. Yo, just give you the streets, man.
Yeah, like I said, I do that for them. Don't really create your own character and all of that.
No, no, well, that's alright. That's alright. But
So we
we
hope
never ask you for that. We never ask you for that. Nobody never ask you for that.
this and apply it to be a pro. We
Brother,
hope that
nobody never
progress
asked them for that.
in a
All we
pro.
ask is that you put FIFA Street in the game. Wrong with it?
Now, FIFA Street Volta, same thing.
No, 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 no. We have to wait and see. Now jump the gun on that one.
Like I
Alright.
say, it's only hoping at the moment.
But I know if it's gonna give me, I'm gonna know what FM are gonna give me.
I won't lie, I got to see Pimento Calcio, which is the new name of Juventus in FIFA.
What them name is?
Pimento Calcio.
Not Torino Calcio.
No, they call it Pimento Calcio. The kit and the badge looks really cool. I can't.
See. Pimento.
Yeah, it's Pimento Calcio. I don't know why they chose that name.
Oh, Piemonte Calcio.
Yeah. I don't know why they chose that name, honestly. I don't know.
See them, but I don't see the budget.
I was watching, I think it was the Gamescom FIFA stream, and they were going through the
Okay, I see it here.
the kit and the badge looks really. I want.
This looks lame, bro. This looks like Parma. This legit look like Parma. Brother, Parma culture is like, come on. Yo, it's a Parma, brother.
The man said it looks like Panama.
Parma.
Panama.
Yeah.
Oh, the pink kit and.
No, just look at the alright. Look at the picture where just look for any Google picture of the one with Cristiano Ronaldo. Piemonte Calcio. It just look like Parma old badge. It looks like Parma.
Let's find out. Let's take a detail.
Yeah, there's a picture with CR7, the one that I
Yeah,
can.
it actually does. Yes, it does actually.
Yeah, this is like Parma.
The only difference is that Parma has like the lines. You know,
Yeah, come on, this was lazy work. This was lazy work. But anyway, as long as somebody get Juve in the game.
it looks really nice in game. So I like the kit in game.
Chelsea can't register free agents.
No.
Oh, just a quick question. Just don't go into detail. Just a quick question.
It's a registration, but you know.
Alright, well yeah, that's the end of the podcast. Until next time. So alright, thanks Leon.